because so the thing is that they haven't solved the fundamental problem that they identified at the beginning of all these changes, which is that the challenge curve, the complication of flying versus size and power is actually inverted. Frigates are very high demand piloting ships that are very cheap, and supers and titans end up overwhelming the situation, and therefore requires far less actual decisions in order to be able to fly effectively. So one of the things that they've identified is they want to make it so that, you know, that high-end stuff also comes with higher levels of competency and technical skill. One of the things I've suggested kind of tongue-in-cheekily, I don't actually know whether or not it's a good idea or not, probably not, but have it so that the Titan Doomsday actually has basically a mini game where you have to build up the power for the firing without letting it get above critical threshold. And the longer you keep it within the good state, the more powerful the resulting attack. But if you end up, like, for instance, if you overload it right when you, like, at the very end, so your maximum built up power, and you let it overload, then the Titan's core just explodes, right? Like, there's a chance if you do it incorrectly that you just explode. And Titans have all, you know, Titan pilots have always been like, oh, then I'd never use it or whatever. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know if that's a good example. How do you do that in tie-dye? Well, that's actually really easy. So you decide that the minigame is a period of time, and then you perform that minigame outside of tie-dye. So you can resolve the minigame and then have the resolution of that score be applied when the gun finally does fire. So as long as the minigame as long as tie-dye doesn't go in reverse and therefore compress the amount of time that you have to shoot, you would be able to continue to do whatever this minigame is within time, or, you know, effectively outside of the slowdown simulation, in theory. I always think of, like, the fishing game from Stardew Valley, where you have to keep the fish in the little the middle point of the bar. It's designed like this, as Eve is eternal. By the time people usually get to a Titan, they're usually too old to manually pilot a frigate. That's pretty funny. But no, like, my point is that, like, before they got into all of these capital changes, that was the big thing that they identified as being one of their problems, or, like, one of the big problems. And so it feels to me like they've stripped out a lot of the power out of these ships in order to be able to reintroduce that power through more complex mechanics.